The night shift at Imperial Border Station Alpha 7 was supposed to be quiet. Commander Chen sat in his chair, drinking his third cup of coffee. His eyes watched the screens in front of him. Nothing ever happened here. The sacred border was the safest place in the galaxy. No one dared to cross it. The Empire made sure of that. But tonight was different. At exactly 2:47 a.m., every alarm in the station started screaming. Red lights flashed everywhere. Chen jumped from his chair and spilled his coffee on the floor. His heart pounded in his chest. 20 years of service, and he had never heard this alarm before. "What's happening?" he shouted over the noise. Officer Martinez ran to her station. Her fingers moved fast across the controls. "Sir, something just crossed the border. Sector 9. But this doesn't make sense." "What doesn't make sense?" "Report properly." Martinez looked at him with wide eyes. "Sir, the sensors detect a ship, but it has no energy signature. It's no heat, no radiation, nothing. It's like a ghost." Chen felt cold sweat on his back. He walked to her screen and looked at the data. She was right. The sensors showed a massive object, but all the readings were zero. Impossible. Everything that moves in space leaves some trace. Ships need energy. They produce heat. This was basic physics. "Show me visual," he ordered. The main screen changed. Everyone in the control room stopped breathing. There, floating in the darkness of space, was a ship. But calling it a ship felt wrong. It was a shadow. A piece of darkness darker than space itself. The ship absorbed all light around it. No reflection, no glow. Just pure, empty blackness. "My God," someone whispered. The ship was huge, bigger than their largest battlecruiser. Its shape was strange, not like any design Chen had ever seen. Sharp angles that hurt to look at. Curves that seemed to bend in ways that made his head ache. "Try communication," Chen said. His voice shook a little. Martinez pressed buttons. "All frequencies open, sir." Standard Imperial greeting transmitted. They waited. Silence. Trying again on emergency channels. More silence. "Sir, it's not responding. It's not even acknowledging our signal." Chen grabbed the emergency communicator. "This is Commander Chen at Alpha 7. I need immediate connection to Fleet Command." "Priority Alpha. We have a border breach." The response came in seconds. "Commander, this is Admiral Hayes. What's your situation?" "Admiral, an unidentified vessel has crossed the sacred border. Sector 9. It's..." "Sir, you need to see this yourself." "I'm sending visual data now." There was a long pause. Chen could imagine the Admiral looking at the same impossible image he was seeing. When Hayes spoke again, his voice was different. Harder. "Commander, I want full tactical analysis. Size, weapons, shields, everything." "Sir, we're trying. But our scanners can't penetrate it. The ship is giving us zero readings. It's like trying to scan a hole in space. That's impossible." "I know, sir. But that's what we're seeing." The Admiral was quiet for a moment. "I'm sending the Third Fleet to your position. ETA 40 minutes. Do not, I repeat, do not engage. Just watch it. If it makes any hostile move, retreat immediately." "Understood, sir." Chen cut the connection and turned back to his crew. Everyone looked scared. He didn't blame them. He was scared too. "Sir," Officer Park called from his station. "The ship is moving." "Where? Toward us?" "No, sir. Deeper into Imperial space. Speed is..." "Sir, this can't be right." "It's moving at 0.5 light speed. Without any engine signature, no thrust. No energy output." Chen felt his stomach drop. 0.5 light speed was faster than most Imperial ships could go at full power. And this ghost ship was doing it silently, leaving no trace. "Track it. Don't lose it." "Yes, sir." Martinez turned to him. "Commander, what is that thing?" Chen shook his head. "I don't know. But whatever it is, it just walked into the most powerful empire in the galaxy like we don't exist." He watched the black ship move across his screen. It wasn't running. It wasn't hiding. It was just going somewhere. like it had a purpose, like it knew exactly where it was going. And that scared him more than anything else, because the sacred border had never been breached in 300 years. The Empire had thousands of ships, millions of soldiers, weapons that could destroy planets. Everyone in the galaxy feared them, but this ship didn't seem to care. It moved through their space like a knife through water, silent, unstoppable, unknown. Chen picked up his communicator again. "Admiral, we have a problem. The ship is heading toward the inner colonies, and it's moving fast." The Admiral's response was just one word: lockdown. And Chen knew that word meant everything had just changed. The Empire was going to war. But this time, they didn't even know who their enemy was. Admiral Hayes stood in the command center of the Imperial flagship Dominion. Around him, hundreds of officers worked at their stations. Screens everywhere showed star maps, ship positions, and data streams. But his eyes were fixed on one screen: the ghost ship. "How long until Third Fleet intercepts?" he asked. 12 minutes, sir," Captain Reeves answered. She stood next to him, her face tight with worry. Hayes had served the Empire for 40 years. He had fought in the border wars. He had seen alien technology that seemed like magic. He had commanded fleets that destroyed entire rebel systems. But he had never seen anything like this. "Sir, we're getting reports from other border stations," Reeves said. "They're all detecting the same thing. No energy readings. No heat signature. It's like the ship doesn't exist, but we can see it." "What about the scan from our deep space probe? The one we sent ahead?" Reeves hesitated. "Sir, the probe got within 1,000 kilometers of the target then. It just stopped working. All systems failed at once. We lost contact." Hayes felt ice in his veins. "Did the ship attack it?" "No, sir." "That's the strange part. The ship didn't fire any weapons. It didn't even change course. The probe just ... died." Hayes turned to the tactical officer. "Lieutenant Kim, what's the ship's current heading?" Kim worked his controls quickly. "Sir, if it maintains current course and speed, it will reach the Carthage system in 6 hours. Population 4 billion. 3 orbital stations. Home to the 5th Imperial Shipyard." The room went silent. Everyone understood what that meant. Carthage was one of the Empire's most important systems. If something happened there, the whole Empire would feel it. "Send warning to Carthage," Hayes ordered. "Full evacuation protocols. I want every civilian ship moving people to safety, and get every military vessel in that system ready for battle." "Yes, sir." Hayes walked to the window. Space stretched out before him, filled with stars. Somewhere out there, the ghost ship was moving. He thought about the reports. A ship that made no sound, left no trace, killed technology just by being near it. What kind of enemy was this? "Admiral, Third Fleet is in position," Reeves reported. "They have visual contact. Commander Zhao is requesting orders." Hayes picked up the communicator. "Commander Zhao, this is Admiral Hayes. I want you to match the target's speed and maintain distance of 10 kilometers. Do not approach closer. Do not fire unless fired upon." "We need information." "Understood, Admiral." Zhao's voice came back. "Sir, I'm looking at this thing right now. It's wrong. Like looking at something that shouldn't be real. Stay focused, Commander. Send me everything your sensors can gather." Hayes waited. The command center was completely quiet. Everyone was watching the screens. They showed Third Fleet's 20 warships surrounding the ghost ship. The fleet looked powerful, impressive. But next to that black void of a ship, it looked small. Suddenly, Lieutenant Kim shouted, "Sir, the ghost ship is stopping." Hayes moved fast to the tactical display. Kim was right. The ship had dropped out of faster-than-light travel. It now floated in empty space, not moving. "Why did it stop?" Hayes asked. "There's nothing in that sector." "I don't know, sir, but..." "Wait, something's happening." On the screen, the ghost ship began to change. Parts of its hull started to glow. Not with normal light. This was different. Purple and green colors that hurt to look at. Colors that didn't belong in normal space. Get me Zhao now. The connection opened. Admiral, are you seeing this? The ship is. The transmission filled with static. Hayes heard Zhao shouting orders in the background, then screaming, then nothing. Reeves, what happened? Get that connection back. Reeves worked frantically. Sir, we've lost all contact with Third Fleet, all 20 ships, just like the probe. They're gone. Gone. You mean destroyed? No, sir. I mean gone. They're not showing on any sensors. It's like they've vanished from existence. Hayes grabbed the edge of the console. His knuckles turned white. 20 warships. 4,000 men and women? Gone in seconds. And the ghost ship hadn't fired a single weapon.
Nice.
Sir Kim said quietly, the ghost ship is moving again. Same heading. Toward Carthage. Hayes felt something he hadn't felt in decades. True fear, not fear of death. Fear of the unknown. Fear of something so far beyond his understanding that all his experience, all his training, meant nothing. Sound the Imperial emergency, he said. His voice was steady, but inside he was shaking. Get me the Emperor. Tell him we're facing something new, something we don't understand. And tell him. He paused. Tell him we might not be able to stop it. Reeves stared at him. Sir, are you saying I'm saying that ship just made 20 of our best warships disappear without trying? And it's heading toward a system with 4 billion people? He looked at her. We need help. We need every ship, every weapon, every idea we have. Because whatever that thing is, it's not stopping. And we have 6 hours to figure out how to save Carthage. Emperor Davos sat on his throne in the heart of the Imperial Palace. The room was massive, with walls of pure white marble and a ceiling that showed the stars. He had ruled the galaxy for 30 years, had crushed rebellions. He had expanded the Empire's borders, had made enemies kneel before him. But today, for the first time in 3 decades, he felt powerless. Explain this to me again, he said to Admiral Hayes. The Admiral stood before him, looking tired and old. Behind Hayes, a hologram showed the ghost ship, that terrible black shape that swallowed light. Your Majesty, we don't understand what we're facing, Hayes said. The ship appears to be made of some material we cannot identify. Our best scientists say it might not even be made of normal matter. It could be something else. Something from somewhere else. You're telling me it's not from our universe? I'm saying we don't know, Your Majesty. And that's the problem. We can't fight what we don't understand. The Emperor stood up. He was a tall man with gray hair and hard eyes that had seen 1,000 battles. How much time until it reaches Carthage? 4 hours and 17 minutes, Your Majesty. And the evacuation? Proceeding? But, Your Majesty, there are 4 billion people. We can't move them all in 4 hours. Maybe we can save a few million. The rest Hayes didn't finish. The Emperor walked to the window. Below him, the capital city stretched out forever. Millions of lights, millions of lives, all depending on him to protect them. What about our weapons? The Nova cannons? The quantum torpedoes? We tried, Your Majesty. Sent our fastest strike cruiser to fire from maximum range. The weapons reached the ghost ship. They should have destroyed it, but they just stopped. 3 meters from the hull. They hung in space for a moment, then fell apart, like they forgot how to exist. The Emperor closed his eyes. What does it want? We don't know. It hasn't communicated. It hasn't demanded anything. It's just moving, like it has a destination, and that destination is Carthage. Yes, Your Majesty. The Emperor turned around, called a council of minds. I want every genius in the Empire working on this. Scientists. Engineers. Even the Oracle Order. I don't care if we have to use ancient technology or forbidden knowledge. Find me an answer. Hayes bowed and left quickly. The Emperor was alone now. He looked at the hologram of the ghost ship. What are you? He thought. Where did you come from? And why are you here? Far away, on the research station Omega Prime, Dr. Sarah Chen stared at the same hologram. Around her, 50 of the Empire's best scientists talked and argued. Everyone had theories. No one had answers. It could be a weapon, someone said. Built by an enemy we don't know about. Another scientist argued. Weapons have purpose. This thing just moves. Doesn't attack unless something gets close. Then maybe it's a probe. Sent to study us. A probe that makes ships vanish. That doesn't make sense. Dr. Chen wasn't listening to them. She was looking at the data. Something bothered her. Something about the way the ship moved. It wasn't random. It had perfect course corrections. Like it knew exactly where it was going. She pulled up a star map and traced the ship's path. It had entered at the border, moved through Sector 9, passed 3 systems without stopping, now heading to Carthage. She drew a line extending past Carthage. Her blood went cold. Oh no, she whispered. What is it? Her assistant asked. Look at this. She showed him the map. The ship's path. If it continues past Carthage on this exact heading, do you know where it goes? The assistant calculated quickly. His face went pale. The Imperial Core. The capital system. Earth. Not just Earth, Dr. Chen said. The Imperial Palace itself. The ship isn't wandering. It's going home. To our home. She grabbed the communicator. This is Dr. Chen at Omega Prime. I need immediate connection to Admiral Hayes. Priority Alpha 1. I know where the ghost ship is going. The connection opened in seconds. Dr. Chen, this is Hayes. What do you have? Admiral, the ship is heading to Earth, to the capital. I've calculated the trajectory 3 times. It's perfect. Too perfect to be accident. Carthage isn't the target. It's just in the way. Hayes was quiet for a long moment. How certain are you? 99%, Admiral. This ship knows exactly where it's going, and I think it's been heading there since it crossed the border. Then why stop at Carthage? Why not go around? Dr. Chen felt sick. Maybe it needs something there. Or maybe it wants us to gather our forces, to bring everything we have to one place, so it can destroy them all at once. Hayes finished. Yes, sir. Hayes took a deep breath. Thank you, Doctor. And you do inform the Emperor. The connection ended. Dr. Chen sat down. Her hands were shaking, and around her. The other scientists had stopped talking. They had heard everything. What do we do? Or someone asked. Dr. Chen looked at the ghost ship on the screen. That dark, terrible thing moving through space like death itself. We pray, she said. We pray that we're wrong, and we prepare for what happens if we're right, because if that ship reached Earth, the heart of the Empire, the center of human civilization in the galaxy, there might not be an empire anymore. The city of New Athens on planet Carthage had never seen panic like this. People ran through the streets carrying children in bags. Vehicles jammed every road. The sky was filled with ships, thousands of them, all trying to escape. Alarms screamed from every building. The message repeated over and over, emergency evacuation. This is not a drill. Proceed to nearest transport station. Governor Marcus stood on the balcony of his office, watching his world fall apart. Below him, 8 million people tried to leave a city that could only evacuate 2 million per hour. The math was simple and terrible. Most of them would still be here when the ghost ship arrived. Governor, the military is requesting you board the last government transport. His aide said behind him. Marcus didn't turn around. How many civilians are still waiting at the spaceport? Over 3 million, sir? Then I'm not leaving. If they stay, I stay. But sir, that's final. Marcus looked at his watch. 2 hours and 43 minutes. That's all they had left. In orbit above Carthage, Fleet Commander Zhang prepared for a battle she knew she couldn't win. She had gathered every warship in the system. 47 vessels, more firepower than most wars ever saw. But she remembered what happened to Third Fleet. 20 ships gone in seconds. All ships report ready, Commander, her tactical officer said. Zhang looked at the formation on her screen. They had arranged themselves in 3 defensive lines between the planet and the ghost ship's approach vector. It looked impressive. It looked strong. But she knew it was just for show. To give the people below hope. To let them think someone was protecting them. Commander, we're detecting something, the sensor officer called out. The ghost ship just dropped out of faster-than-light travel. Distance, 50,000 kilometers. It's just sitting there. Zhang felt her heart race. Show me. The main screen changed. There it was. That black hole in space. That thing that shouldn't exist. But now, something was different. The ship was opening. Parts of its hull peeled back like flower petals. Inside, there was light. But not normal light. This light moved like liquid. It pulsed with colors that made her eyes hurt. "What's it doing?" someone whispered. "I don't know," Zhang said. "All ships hold position. Weapons ready, but do not fire. Wait for my command." The ghost ship continued to open. The light grew brighter. Zhang could see her crew shielding their eyes. On her screen, the sensors were going crazy. Energy readings spiked off the charts, then dropped to 0, then spiked again. "Commander, I'm getting... This can't be right," the sensor officer said. "I'm detecting life signs inside the ghost ship. Thousands of them. No, millions. But they're not like any life signs I've ever seen. They're wrong. Like they exist in more dimensions than we can measure." Zhang gripped her chair. "Are they hostile?" "I don't. Wait. Something's coming out." From the center of the ghost ship, something emerged. It was small, maybe the size of a fighter craft, but it glowed with that same impossible light. It moved toward the fleet slowly. No weapons visible, no shields up, just drifting forward. "Commander, what do we do?" her tactical officer asked. Zhang made a decision. "Let it come. Hold fire. Maybe it wants to talk." The small craft passed through the first defensive line. The warships there tracked it with their weapons, but didn't shoot. It continued to the second line, then the third. Finally, it stopped 100 meters from Zhang's flagship. Then a voice came through every speaker on every ship. It spoke in perfect Imperial standard, but there was something strange about it. Like multiple voices talking at once. Like the sound came from everywhere and nowhere. "We have been searching for a very long time," the voice said. Zhang grabbed the communicator. "This is Fleet Commander Zhang of the Galactic Empire. Identify yourself. State your intentions. We are the returned. We went away when the universe was young. We crossed the barrier between realities. We have seen things your kind cannot imagine. We have been to places that exist outside of time. And now we have come back. Why? Why are you here? We are going home. To the place where humanity first reached for the stars. To the world you call Earth? That is where we began. That is where we must return." Zhang felt cold. "You're human?" "We were human. Long ago. Before your empire existed. Before your kind spread across the galaxy. We were the first. The ones who left Earth when it was still primitive. We have been gone for 50,000 years. And now we come back to find our home occupied by our own descendants who do not remember us." The command center was silent. Everyone stared at the screens. Zhang's mind raced. 50,000 years. That was impossible. Humans had only been in space for 5,000 years. Before that, Earth was just one planet with primitive technology. "You're lying," Zhang said. "There's no record of humans leaving Earth 50,000 years ago. Of course there isn't. We left no trace. We took everything with us. We wanted our descendants to build their own civilization without our shadow. But now we must return. The universe is changing. A darkness is coming. Something worse than you can imagine. And we must prepare. Earth must be ready. Prepare for what?" The voice was quiet for a moment. When it spoke again, Zhang heard something she didn't expect. "Fear. The silence is coming. The thing that exists between universes. The thing that devours realities. We have been running from it for 50,000 years. And now it has found this universe. It will arrive in 1 year. And when it comes, everything you know will end. Unless we stop it." Zhang sat down slowly. Her hands were shaking. "How do we know you're telling the truth?" "You don't. But in 47 minutes, we will pass Carthage. We will not harm your world. We will continue to Earth, and you will follow us. Because you have no choice. The silence is coming. And we are your only hope of survival." The small craft turned and flew back to the ghost ship. The massive vessel began to close. The light faded, and then it started moving again, toward Earth. Emperor Davos stood in the war room surrounded by his highest advisors. The hologram in the center showed the ghost ship moving past Carthage just as the voice had promised. Not one shot fired, not one life taken. The fleet had watched it pass in silence. They could be lying, General Voss said. He was the Empire's top military commander, a man who trusted only weapons and soldiers. This could be a trick, an invasion force claiming to be our ancestors. But what if they're telling the truth? Dr. Chen asked. She had been brought to the palace an hour ago. What if humans really did leave Earth 50,000 years ago? What if they've been out there all this time? It's impossible, Voss argued. We have complete records of human history. There's no evidence of advanced civilization that far back. Maybe that's the point, Admiral Hayes said quietly. They said they left no trace. What if they erased everything on purpose? The Emperor raised his hand for silence. The question isn't whether they're lying. The question is, what do we do now? They're heading to Earth. They'll arrive in 18 hours. We can't stop them. We've seen what happens when we try. Then we evacuate Earth, Voss said. Move the government. Abandon the capital. Evacuate 12 billion people in 18 hours. Hayes shook his head. Impossible. And even if we could, where would they go? If this silence they mentioned is real, if it's coming to destroy the universe, running won't help. The Emperor walked to the window. Earth hung in space before him, beautiful and blue. The cradle of humanity. The heart of the Empire. Its home. What do you think, Dr. Chen? You're the scientist. Is their story possible? Dr. Chen thought carefully before speaking. Your Majesty, we've always wondered about the Dark Age, that period 50,000 years ago where we have no archaeological evidence. No records, nothing. We assumed early humans were just primitive then. But what if we were wrong? What if there was a civilization and they left completely? Took their cities, their technology, their history. That would explain the gap in our knowledge. In this silence they mentioned? The Emperor asked. I don't know, Your Majesty, but ... She hesitated. We've detected strange anomalies at the edge of the universe for years. Dark zones, where space itself seems to be disappearing. We thought it was a natural phenomenon. But what if it isn't? What if something is eating reality itself? The room went silent. Everyone understood what that meant. If something could destroy reality, no weapon would work. No fleet could fight it. Nothing they had could stop it. So we have two choices, the Emperor said. Fight the returned and probably lose. Or let them reach Earth and hope they're telling the truth. There's a third option, Your Majesty, Hayes said. We talk to them. Really talk. Try to understand what they want. The Emperor nodded slowly. Admiral, prepare the diplomatic ship. I'm going to meet them, Your Majesty. That's too dangerous, Voss protested. You can't. I can, and I will. If they wanted to destroy us, they could have done it already. They have the power. But they haven't used it. That means something. Maybe they really are trying to help. 6 hours later, the Emperor's ship approached the ghost vessel in deep space. The black ship had stopped again, waiting. The Emperor sat in the diplomatic shuttle with only Admiral Hayes and Dr. Chen. No weapons. No guards. Just 3 people trying to save their civilization. The ghost ship opened again. That strange light poured out. A passage formed like a tunnel of liquid stars. A voice came through the speakers. Enter. You're safe. We mean you no harm. Shuttle flew into the passage. The Emperor felt strange. Like he was moving through water and air and fire all at once. Then they were inside a massive chamber, and they saw them. The returned, they looked human, but also not human. Tall and thin, with skin that seemed to glow from within. Their eyes were too large, too bright. They wore no clothes, but their bodies were covered in patterns that moved like living tattoos. There were dozens of them, watching silently. One stepped forward. When it spoke, its mouth didn't move. The voice came from everywhere. Emperor Davos of the Galactic Empire, descendant of the ones we left behind. Welcome. The Emperor stood tall. He had faced war and death and never shown fear. He wouldn't start now. I am here to hear the truth. All of it. No more mysteries. If you are really our ancestors, prove it. Show me why I should trust you. The being tilted its head. You ask for truth? Very well. But truth is dangerous, Emperor. Once you know what we know, once you see what we have seen, your life will never be the same. You will carry a burden that will crush weaker minds. Are you certain you want this? The Emperor looked at Hayes and Dr. Chen. They both nodded. He turned back to the being. I am certain. My people deserve to know what's coming. I deserve to know who you really are. The being raised its hand. The chamber changed. The walls became windows showing stars, but not normal stars. These were dying. Being consumed by darkness, reality itself was being erased, piece by piece. This is the silence, the being said, and it is already here, at the edge of your universe, moving closer every day. In 1 year, it will reach the core systems. In 2 years, it will reach Earth, and when it arrives, everything ends, unless we stop it together. The Emperor watched the darkness swallow stars. He watched reality die. And for the first time in 30 years of rule, he felt truly afraid. The Emperor couldn't look away from the dying stars. Each one disappeared into the darkness like candles being blown out. Entire solar systems erased from existence. Billions of lives gone in seconds. How long have you been fighting this? He asked quietly. The being moved closer. Its glowing patterns shifted and changed like waves on water. 50,000 years. We discovered it by accident when we first learned to travel between dimensions. We found a crack in reality, a place where the universe was bleeding. We tried to seal it. We failed. The silence noticed us, and it has been hunting us ever since. Dr. Chen stepped forward. Her scientific mind needed to understand. What is it exactly? Where does it come from? It is the space between universes, the nothing that exists in the gaps. Your kind thinks the universe is everything. But there are infinite universes, stacked like pages in a book. And between those pages, there is emptiness. Not just empty space. True nothingness, no matter. No energy, no time. No existence. That is the silence. And somehow, it became aware. It became hungry. Admiral Hayes felt sick. And it's coming here? To our universe? It is already here. The breach opened at the edge of your reality 3 years ago. Your scientists detected anomalies, but didn't understand what they were seeing. The silence moves slowly, but it never stops. It consumes everything in its path. Stars, planets, life, even the laws of physics themselves. Where it passes, nothing can exist. The Emperor forced himself to look away from the horror on the screens. Why did you come back? After 50,000 years of running, why return now? The being's eyes glowed brighter. Because we discovered something. A way to fight it. But we need Earth. The planet where humanity was born holds something unique. Something we lost when we left. The quantum resonance of original human consciousness. Every human born on Earth carries a frequency in their DNA. A pattern we evolved there over millions of years. We changed too much during our travels. We lost that frequency. But you still have it. And that frequency is the key to closing the breach. I don't understand, Dr. Chen said. How can human DNA fight something that destroys reality? The silence is nothingness. It has no structure, no pattern. But consciousness does. Thought creates patterns. Life creates order. The original human frequency, the one carried by Earthborn humans, resonates at a specific quantum level. If we can amplify that frequency across the entire planet, we can create a barrier, a wall of consciousness that the silence cannot cross. We can push it back through the breach and seal it forever. The Emperor's mind raced. You need Earth, because that's where the most Earthborn humans are concentrated. Yes, 12 billion people, all carrying the original frequency. If we can link their consciousness together for just one moment, the resonance will be powerful enough. But it must be willing. It must be chosen. We cannot force it. That is why we came to ask, not to conquer. To request your help? Haas stepped forward. What happens to the people? If you link 12 billion minds together, what does that do to them? The being was quiet for a moment. They will be changed. Not harmed. Not killed. But changed. For one moment, they will be connected to every other human on Earth. They will feel every thought, every emotion, every dream. It will be overwhelming. Some minds may break from the experience, and afterward they will remember. They will carry that memory forever. The memory of being part of something infinite. How many will be damaged? The Emperor demanded. How many minds will break? We estimate 5%. Maybe 600 million people. They will survive, but they will never be the same. Their minds will be lost in the memory of connection. They will become like children again. Unable to function alone? The chamber went silent. The Emperor felt the weight of the decision crushing him. Save the universe, but sacrifice 600 million minds. Let billions of people be changed forever, or refuse and watch reality itself die. There has to be another way, he said. There isn't. We have searched for 50,000 years. This is the only solution we found. And time is running out. The silence is moving faster now. It has consumed 17 galaxies in the past month alone. Soon it will reach the core of this universe. If we don't act within the next year, it will be too late. Dr. Chen wiped tears from her eyes. Can you guarantee it will work? No. We believe it will work. Our calculations show 93% probability of success. But there is no guarantee. There never is. The Emperor looked at Hayes and Dr. Chen. He saw the same fear and doubt in their eyes. How do you make a choice like this? How do you decide the fate of 12 billion people? I need time to think, the Emperor said. You have 18 hours, the being replied. When we reach Earth, you must give us your answer. Yes or no. Help us save the universe, or watch it die. There is no other choice. The shuttle left the ghost ship in silence. Nobody spoke during the journey back. The Emperor stared out the window at the stars, wondering if this was the last time he would see them, wondering if he had the strength to make the hardest decision in human history. Behind them, the ghost ship continued toward Earth, toward home, toward the moment when everything would change. The Emperor stood before the Grand Assembly. Every leader from every system in the Empire sat in the massive chamber. Governors, senators, military commanders, religious leaders. They had all arrived within hours when they heard the news. Now they waited for his decision. The decision that would change everything. I have seen it with my own eyes, the Emperor said. His voice echoed through the silent chamber. The silence is real. It is consuming our universe. Star by star. Galaxy by galaxy. The returned are telling the truth, and they offer us the only solution. Governor Marcus from Carthage stood up. You're asking us to let them experiment on 12 billion people, to risk 600 million minds. How can we agree to this? Because the alternative is worse, the Emperor replied. If we do nothing, everyone dies. Not just humans. Every living thing in the universe. The silence doesn't discriminate. It erases everything. Senator Yuki from the outer colonies raised her hand. But we only have their word. What if they're wrong? What if this doesn't work, and we sacrifice all those people for nothing? Dr. Chen stepped forward. The Emperor had asked her to explain the science. I've reviewed their data. I've seen the calculations. Their math is correct. The quantum resonance theory is sound. If Earthborn humans can be linked at the consciousness level, the frequency they generate could theoretically create a barrier against dimensional intrusion. It's brilliant. Terrifying, but brilliant. Could theoretically, General Voss repeated. That's not good enough. We're gambling with billions of lives based on theory. All of science is theory until we test it, Dr. Chen shot back. And we don't have time for more tests. The silence will be here in a year. This is our only chance. The chamber erupted in argument. Voices shouted over each other. Some demanded they fight. Others wanted to run. A few suggested surrendering to the silence as if that were possible. The emperor let them argue. They needed to express their fear and anger. But he knew the truth. The decision was already made. It had to be. Admiral Hayes walked to his side. The returned have reached Earth orbit. They're waiting for your answer. The emperor nodded. He raised his hand, and the chamber fell silent. I know you're afraid. I'm afraid too. But I've been your emperor for 30 years. I've led you through wars and disasters. I've made hard choices before, but never one like this. He paused. However, I cannot make this choice alone. This affects everyone. So I'm giving you the choice. We vote. Right here. Right now, do we help the returned save the universe? Or do we face the silence alone? The chamber was silent. Then Governor Marcus stood. I vote yes. I stood on Carthage and watched my people panic. I watched them run in fear from something we couldn't understand. If there's a chance to stop it, we have to try. Even if the cost is terrible. One by one, others stood. Senator Yuki, Admiral Hayes, Dr. Chen, military commanders, religious leaders. Not everyone. Some remained seated, unable to accept the price. But most rose, because they understood. Sometimes survival requires sacrifice. The vote is decided, the emperor said. We help them. He looked at those still seated. I know some of you disagree. I know you think this is wrong. Maybe it is. But it's necessary. And history will judge us for this choice. 2 hours later, the emperor stood on Earth's surface. He had returned to the imperial palace, but he couldn't stay inside. He needed to see the sky. Above him, the ghost ship hovered, silent, waiting. Around the world, 12 billion people looked up at the same sight. They had been told what was coming, what would be asked of them, and they were afraid. The being from the returned appeared beside him. Not physically. It was a projection, glowing in the darkness. You have decided? Yes, we will help you. But I have conditions. You will take volunteers first. Anyone who refuses must be left alone. And after this is done, you will leave. Earth is our home, not yours anymore. Agreed. We want only to save what remains, not to rule it. The being looked at the sky. We will begin in 3 hours. At dawn, when the sun rises over Earth, we will link the consciousness of all who are willing. The resonance will build, and we will push back the silence. What if it doesn't work? The emperor asked quietly. Then we tried. That is all anyone can do. Try. The being faded away. The emperor stood alone in the darkness. Around the world, people prepared. Some prayed. Some said goodbye to loved ones. Some simply waited in silence. And above them all, the ghost ship began to glow. Preparations were beginning. Dr. Chen stood in her laboratory recording a final message. If you're hearing this, it means something went wrong. But know that we tried. We faced the end of everything, and we chose to fight, not with weapons, not with violence, but with the one thing that makes us human, our consciousness, our ability to think and feel and connect. If we fail, remember us. Remember that humanity stood together at the end. Admiral Hayes gathered his fleet. Every ship in the Empire now surrounded Earth, not to fight, but to witness. To watch as their species attempted something impossible. All ships hold position, he ordered. We are here to observe, to record. And if this works, to celebrate. If it does, he didn't finish. Everyone knew. Governor Marcus stood with 8 million people in New Athens. They held hands. Strangers connecting to strangers, building a chain of humanity. Whatever happens, he told them, we face it together. Across Earth, 12 billion people waited. Some volunteers, some not. But all united by one truth. They were human. They were alive, and they would not go quietly into the darkness. The sun began to rise. Golden light touched the edge of the horizon. The ghost ship's glow intensified, and the Emperor whispered into the morning, "Let it begin." The returned activated their technology. A wave of energy swept across the planet, and 12 billion minds suddenly touched, connected, became one. The resonance built like music, like thunder, like the birth of stars. Earth itself seemed to sing. And far away at the edge of the universe, the silence felt something it had never felt before. Resistance, light pushing back against the dark. Consciousness fighting against the void. The barrier was forming. Humanity was fighting back. And for the first time in 50,000 years, the returned allowed themselves to hope.